Harambee! Neno hili si hivyo. Mambo ni matatu.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome back to our channel once again. I have always opined on this platform on many occasions that in politics nothing happens out of mere coincidence, and that everything in politics is normally well planned, well scripted and executed to achieve a specific political objective. Nothing in politics just happen for the sake of it. William Ruto yesterday made this particular statement. I want you guys to listen to William Ruto and tell me what you think he meant by that statement.
Yaani mtu ningeshingana na yeye ni Raila Odinga. Lakini sasa hawa nitawamalizia asubuhi na mapema. Very early in the morning. Wamepotea. Ama namna gani my friends? Ni kweli ama si kweli? Na sio kwa sababu ya bure, because they have no plan. They have no agenda. They have no program. They have nothing. Ni watu tu ya kuendesha ukabila, kupiganisha watu, kulete chuki, kulete hasara, kulete hasira. Na mimi nataka niwaulize ndugu zangu watu wa Malava, tushirikiane tufanye kazi pamoja. Sasa mimi nataka niwaulize, si huyu Oparanya alikuwa mtu Azimio? Si huyu Barasa alikuwa mtu Azimio? Lakini kwa sababu wao ni viongozi wako na maono, tumekubaliana hakuna haja ya kulumbana, tushirikiane, tufanye kazi pamoja. Ndio tumetengeneza serikali ya broad based, ndio tuondoe ukabila, tuondoe chuki,
Ladies and gentlemen, that is William Samoei Arap Ruto. William Ruto is making it very, very clear that the only person who could have defeated him was none other than Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga is no longer there, which means, according to William Ruto, none of the presidential candidates from Rigathi Gachagua, from Kalonzo Musyoka, from Fred Matiang'i, to whoever will be running, cannot defeat him in 2027. For me, that statement is very heavy. It means two things. Number one, that William Ruto is so sure of winning that there is no way these guys will be able to defeat him. Or number two, William Ruto is so sure of rigging and that none of these guys can actually manage to stop him. In this video, I want us to ask ourselves a few questions about what William Ruto actually meant with that statement. Before we do that, for those who are watching the channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Ladies and gentlemen, I want us to ask ourselves a few questions. Who are the possible opponents of William Ruto in 2027? And can they defeat William Samoei Arap Ruto? For me, William Ruto is likely to face off with Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka will be on the ballot. And assuming Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka will be supported by Mount Kenya, and the mountain votes for him, and they rage against William Ruto's government, there is a high chance that he can actually defeat William Ruto. But Ruto is so sure that that cannot happen. Why is he so confident? The second guy who will be on the ballot likely is none other than Fred Matiang'i. Can Matiang'i defeat William Ruto? My answer to that question is yes, but only if supported by Rigathi and Kalonzo. In fact, if Matiang'i were to be the sole candidate, he will easily defeat William Ruto. But Ruto is saying, with Raila out of the picture, that cannot happen. Rigathi Gachagua on the ballot. Can Rigathi Gachagua defeat Ruto? For me, I doubt if Rigathi Gachagua can defeat Ruto. Because if Rigathi Gachagua were to run, you can be sure Kalonzo will also run. You can also be sure Matiang'i will also run. Which means For Rigathi, he has the solid Kikuyu votes, which is around 5 or 4 million, which can only transfer to someone else. None of these other candidates can actually transfer their votes to Rigathi unless a miracle happens. But let me ask some of the questions which I really wanted us to look at after that statement by Ruto. And I've been wondering, was broad-based government meant to make Raila Odinga unpopular? We need to go back and figure out what informed the decision to join broad-based government. In 2024, which was last year, June, Kenya experienced Gen Z revolution. That revolution was almost eating William Ruto. The truth is, they were determined to kick William Ruto out of government. William Ruto became very unpopular after that uprising. He reached out to Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga came on board and stabilized the government. But as much as Raila Odinga stabilized the government, the Gen Zs were still very angry and very bitter with William Ruto. And they viewed Raila Odinga as someone who was standing between them and Ruto. Because remember, at the peak of that revolution, they had one advice to Raila Odinga. Please, Baba, Kakando, let us deal with this guy. So when Raila Odinga came, he came between them, the Gen Zs and William Ruto. And some of them now could not hit William Ruto because there was Baba. And that rage now was transferred to Raila Amolo Odinga. That's why even Ruth Odinga, when Raila Odinga passed on, she was like, Baba died believing that the Gen Zs did not want him, which was not the case. They were just angry with the fact that he helped William Samoei Arap Ruto. So was Ruto strategic enough to reach out to Baba, knowing so well that by Raila Odinga agreeing to support him, he was going to create a wedge between the Gen Zs and Baba? The fact is, after Raila joined William Ruto, majority of people who used to support him, especially the young generation, were really very angry and very bitter with Raila Odinga. The truth is, the anger which Kenyans had for William Ruto, they transferred it to Raila Odinga. And that's how now I think William Ruto managed to play and corner Raila Odinga by making Raila look bad before the eyes of Kenyans. My second question, was Raila Odinga going to run for the presidency in 2027? I'm asking that question because why would William Ruto say or claim that Raila Odinga was the only person who could defeat him? We all know that Raila Odinga made it very, very clear on many occasions that he is in the broad-based government until 2027. In fact, in his last meeting, ODM meeting, Raila Odinga warned ODM members against saying 2027. Raila Odinga actually warned ODM members, who told you that ODM will not produce a presidential candidate? Is there something which William Ruto knew about 2027? And Raila Odinga running, which probably he's now talking about right now. And if Raila Odinga were to be on the ballot, was Raila Odinga going to defeat William Ruto? For me, I doubt if Raila Odinga would have defeated William Ruto. Of course, Raila Odinga had his loyal support base, but defeating Ruto in 2027 was not going to be easy. The only thing I know was that Raila Odinga was going to be in a position to either make Kalonzo the president or to make Matiang'i or run and then enter into some post-election agreement. But now I'm starting to believe that if Raila Odinga was alive, probably he would have stayed with William Ruto until 2027 and then bolted out or enter into a new agreement. And that's why I'm very keen on what Oburu Odinga is saying moving forward. The third question, is Ruto My third question, which I think probably should be the biggest worry for Rigathi and Kalonzo, is this a strategy by the president to prepare the country for a 2027 victory? Because if you are claiming that nobody can defeat you, what are you trying to say? The overconfidence. Why is William Ruto so overconfident? Is there something he knows which we don't know? For me, I'm seeing rigging schemes. And with Raila Odinga out of the picture, who can stop William Ruto from rigging? Of course, rigging Ruto cannot do it the way Samia Suluhu is doing it. And by the way, my next video, I have a funeral, actually two, one in my uncle, then I have another funeral in the game, and my neighbor lost a brother in Moroni. So between today and tomorrow, I'll be attending those funerals. But the question is, why is Ruto so confident? He cannot rig the way Samia Suluhu is doing it in Tanzania, because the one in Tanzania is actually stupidity of the highest order. You can't just rig elections by locking out all opponents, and then you want to run alone and you expect people to clap for you. Suluhu should go home. Yeah, but the truth is, these are schemes. This is how they start. For those who've been here long enough, you know how the tyranny of number began. That tyranny of numbers is what was used to rig election at that time. Now, the fourth question, which I think I've partly answered, is, can the opposition defeat William Ruto? There's a time I opined on this platform that William Ruto will do everything possible to clear Rigathi Gachagua to run for the presidency. And the reason William Ruto would do that is simple: to split the opposition. Because if Rigathi Gachagua is locked from running, what's going to happen is that he's going to transfer those support base to someone else. Let's say Kalonzo. That's dangerous for Ruto. So the only way opposition can defeat Ruto is if they agree to unite. And after uniting, front as a go candidate. But is that possible? I just want to ask you. Because I'm seeing Uhuru Kenyatta supporting Matiang'i under Jubilee. Can Jubilee agree to support Kalonzo because there's also Rigathi Gachagua behind Kalonzo? I doubt. So as long as the opposition will not be united, they're going to hand William Ruto second term. And this is the confidence William Ruto has. This is the confidence William Ruto has. And lastly, what role will Uhuru Kenyatta play as far as 2027 politics is concerned? Because for me, William Ruto is going to use Uhuru Kenyatta to play certain roles. What role will Uhuru Kenyatta play for Ruto? Number one, to split the opposition. There's no way Rigathi Gachagua's camp will agree to work with Uhuru Kenyatta's camp, which means Uhuru Kenyatta will front Matiang'i. These other guys will front either Kalonzo. Then they'll compete in the mountain. They'll split those votes. And as long as the mountain will be split, Ruto will only be praying that he gets a good chunk from the Luo nation. He gets a good chunk from the Luo nation. He will be done. He might not get the 50% plus one, but runoff, you can now not really say. So the first role Uhuru will be playing is to split the position. The second role he will be playing is to checkmate Rigathi. Uhuru will be the one checkmating Rigathi. Remember the statement William Ruto made during the burial of Raila Odinga, that he's been working with Uhuru Kenyatta, and that when Baba was alive, he assigned him some role. He went and met with Uhuru Kenyatta. Why do you think he was making that confession live at that emotional moment? He wanted to box Uhuru Kenyatta into some corner. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what you think. This is my take. Until next time, this is Lee Makwiny. Bye-bye.